Legends of Yokai. Kawa-no-Kami. The tale of the Kawa-no-Kami, the river god. Long ago, in a remote village nestled beside a winding river, there lived a man named Isao. A strong and hard-working fisherman, he had made a living from the river's abundant fish, and his simple life was one of routine and contentment. Though his wife, Aiko, often worried about his safety, as the river could be treacherous, Isao paid her concerns little heed. The river had always been a friend to him, and he trusted its flow. One evening, after a long day of fishing, Isao found himself alone by the riverbank. The sun was setting, casting an orange glow across the water. As he was about to pack his things and return home, he noticed something unusual. The water's surface shimmered with an unnatural light. The river, which had always been dark and murky, now seemed to glow with an ethereal radiance. Curious, Isao approached the edge and peered into the water. It was then that he saw a figure, a tall, slender man standing in the river, waist deep, his features obscured by a flowing, dark robe. The man's face was pale and smooth, with eyes that glowed like the moon. He had an otherworldly aura that drew Isao in, and despite the cold chill creeping through his spine, he found himself unable to look away. The mysterious man spoke, his voice like the whisper of the river's current. "I am the Kawa-no-Kami, the river god. I have watched over this river for centuries, and you, Isao, have taken from me more than you realize." Isao, perplexed and unnerved, stepped back but said nothing. The river god continued, "Your nets have taken much from me. The fish that swim in these waters are my children, and I demand payment for their loss." At first, Isao laughed, thinking the man was nothing more than a mad hermit, but the river suddenly began to rise, swirling around him as if responding to the river god's command. The waters darkened and churned, and Isao felt a deep sense of foreboding wash over him. "You have taken from the river without giving back," the river god's voice echoed, now cold and commanding. "The river must be respected, or it will claim what is owed." Isao's heart raced as the waters began to pull him in. Desperately, he fought against the current, but the more he struggled, the more the river seemed to tighten its grip. He realized too late that he was not facing just a man, but a powerful spirit, one that governed the flow of the river itself. In a final, desperate attempt to escape, Isao reached out and begged for mercy. "Please," he cried, "I never meant to harm the river or its creatures." The river god's eyes softened for a moment, and the waters calmed. "You have not harmed the river directly, but your greed has disturbed the balance. You must pay the price." The man's body was suddenly overcome with the weight of water, and before Isao could react, he felt his limbs grow heavy as if filled with water. His body began to sink, his lungs filling with the cold, suffocating liquid. With one final, terrifying scream, Isao was pulled under, disappearing into the depths of the river. The next morning, the villagers searched the river for Isao, but his body was never found. Only the faintest ripples remained where he had been, as if the river itself had swallowed him whole. It is said that, on quiet nights, the river god still walks the shores of the river, his pale face emerging from the water, looking for those who take from the river without respect. His presence is marked by a sudden chill in the air and the soft sound of rushing water, even when the river is still.